In the spring of 1907, Pablo Picasso invited several of his friends to his Paris studio. They included some of the most advanced painters and thinkers of his time. He was eager to show them a big new picture on which he had been working for months. Almost without exception, they hated it.
It's an outrage. He's trying to ridicule the whole modern movement.
It looks like a field of broken glass.
Perhaps he should devote himself to cartooning.
Oh, what a loss to French art.
Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, the Girls of Avignon Street. A picture of 5 nude women in a room. But what a picture, and what women. To Picasso's friends, this was a pointless rejection of every convention, every tradition of painting. First of all, it gave the viewer no clear conception of space. There was no separation of foreground from background. Every object and every figure was made up of flat, angular planes that seemed to have been hacked out with an axe. There was not even an attempt to make the figures graceful or convincing. One leg looked as if it were hammered out of sheet metal. One hand seemed to be growing out of its owner's head. Worst of all, there was no overall consistency of style. The faces on the right, for instance, were hardly even human. The features were grotesquely distorted, like those of primitive masks. Picasso rolled up his canvas and never showed it again for 30 years. But the influence of this painting was profound, on Picasso himself and on a whole age. Actually, Picasso was simply carrying forward ideas that he and others had already started. A year earlier, for example, in his portrait of Gertrude Stein, he had flattened and simplified the forms of both the face and body, giving the picture a mood of gravity and silence. Picasso, like many other artists, had been influenced by the simplicity and expressiveness of primitive art, such as the ritual masks of Central Africa. Even more important, Picasso was inspired by the work of Paul Cezzane, who had already done much to change the traditional idea of what a picture was. For hundreds of years, people had conceived of a picture as a kind of window looking into space. This space was an illusion created on the flat picture surface. Most people thought that the more effective the illusion, the better the picture. Cezzane had departed from this tradition. He simplified whatever subject he was painting and portrayed it in loosely defined planes of color. The illusion of space is still there, but patterns of shapes and colors are equally evident. Picasso took this lead and pursued it even further. He attacked the illusion of space directly. Here, the buildings of a hilltop town are just barely recognizable. They have been simplified or abstracted almost completely into a purely geometrical design. Furthermore, Picasso didn't restrict himself to a single consistent point of view. The roofs and walls are shaped as though they were being viewed from above, below, one side, another, all at the same time.